guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Farms doing some home repairs today. Got this tub, we installed a new faucet for it, and I'm actually redoing the whole bathroom. The toilet's out, everything's kind of a mess. But what this video is about is how to do something. I made a video on this years ago, but I figured I'd revisit it since it didn't get a ton of views. How to use PEX piping, how easy it is to use PEX. So this house is an older double wide, and it's got 1/2 inch and 3/4 PEX throughout the house. Replacing that stuff is not difficult at all. In fact, compared to working with copper, it's so much easier. So let me show you what tools I have here. And I just did get a new set after like, oh gosh, 30 plus years of having a kit that I had picked up. And this is superior, I would say. But I'll show you what you need. You don't need all of this for every job, but you need most of this for most jobs, if that makes sense. And then I'm on my cell phone because there's no way to get a real camera up underneath this tub. But I'm going to show you how to cut PEX and to crimp a PEX O-ring or a ring onto a faucet. And then we'll turn on the water and see if it leaks. Let's check out the stuff. All right, here's the kit that I got. It's from a company called iCrimp. And it's pretty nice. It's got 3/4 and 1/2 inch. And this, I'll show you here in a little bit. That right there is the cut PEX. And that right there cuts the rings off of the PEX fittings so you can reuse it. And, you know, we're not living in the past anymore. These brass fittings to use with PEX, they ain't cheap. It's not cheap enough that you can afford to throw it out. As you can see over here, we got some stubs here. And that's what your finished product is going to look like. You got your crimps, and I just got some brass plugs in that, but I used this kit to do that. And now we're going to crawl up underneath the tub and I'll show you how to cut. Now we do have some water still in the line, so there'll probably be a leak, but I'll show you how to cut it, paste it, and then I'll also show you how to retrieve those plugs so we don't waste that money.
That is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut that off. And when you cut these, try to get as close as you can to your fitting, as that's going to make getting this O-ring, or this ring, I keep calling them O-rings, just this ring off, and then retrieving your end plug here. And like I said, with this one, some water is going to come out of there. So
cool. And I'm going to use this tool right here and just make my little cut. A little farther down. There we go. And some water is going to come out all over the phone and probably ruin it.
Hopefully y'all can see that. I got to pull this back off. I just put it on there to hold it from losing too much water. And we're going to slide our ring on and stuff it back in there. If you take a look, now that I've got my hands free, I'll pick up the camera. If you take a look there, you can see about 1/8 of an inch at most is the gap you want. You don't want that ring too far up, and you don't want it too far down. You want it to be able to catch the whole thing, right? So I'm going to put that back down. Hopefully you can see what's going on. And we're going to make a crimp. You can see some of the water coming out. So to crimp it, this tool slides up over. Make sure you have a full connection. And squeeze. There you see it up close here. You just get it wrapped around there, squeeze, open it back up, pull that off, and there is all she wrote. That is how easy it is to replace a connection. A whole lot easier than getting solder and flux and everything else in there to try to swage a fitting, so to speak. So I'm going to hook up the other one, and then let me show you the other half of that tool where you can cut off the old rings and replace or keep those old plugs and those old pieces when you're redoing a remodel. All right, so the last part of this I want to show you out of this kit here is this, and really this is like the most valuable part in this thing because we can save our very expensive ends, right? This thing here splits our crimp rings so that we can reuse these. I don't know if I'll be able to slide this off. Usually they get kind of stuck on there, but yeah, I'll probably have to get a screwdriver. Now it's coming. Mm-hmm. Do you know what centering is? There you go. So that's how you break those apart and save that. That's like $5-6 right there. You know, and this tool's, I don't know, the leverage needed for it, but it's pretty stout. Of course, if you cut it too far down, it won't reach all the way to the edge there, and so you have to be careful when you set these in here that, and you can see here how it just snaps right through that. And if I press any harder, I could snap the other side. I just wanted to show you here. Now, these rings aren't reusable, but they're not all that expensive. But these things are expensive. And then if you got faucets or stuff like that, and you want to be able to reuse those faucets, you know, you don't want to throw that stuff away. There was probably a time when it wouldn't be too bad to do that, but that time has passed, my friends. These things ain't cheap. What is cheap in 2024, right? Anyway, you can also use this to cut the plastics on too. This thing's just being a bear, so you can see. Yeah, whatever it's made out of, it's pretty sharp stuff because it'll actually split that and loosen it up enough to get that out. So there we go. Anyway, that's the eye crimp kit. Picked that up on Amazon, and I'll tell you what, compared to like all the pieces I've been using for so many years, I've had so many little bits and pieces to make all this, mostly 1/2 inch. I did have a 3/4 in my collection. That piece right there was so dull. This thing was definitely showing us years after taking probably hundreds of these caps off and you know, different fittings off over the years. Pretty cool. Now, I don't know what that is. I guess it's a gauge test, but, and it looks like there might be some spare snap rings in here. You see the little C-clamps or C-clips. That's it, my friends. Till next time, take care.